What does Plato's myth of the cave truly mean for us today, and what does it reveal about our age? The ordinary story, which is one arguably of gatekeeping, goes as follows for the most part. Plato just uses the so-called allegory or analogy of the cave simply to explain his alleged theory of forms. Just to explain how forms in the ideal world correspond to the ephemeral world of everyday life and what we see. The cave then, if anything, has but educational purpose and nothing beyond it. But those who so proclaim might themselves be either trapped in the camera obscura of shadows, or perhaps are also shadow makers themselves in a game they, however, do not fully understand themselves. Is it not striking that this myth, this most profound philosophical myth, appears to be fulfilling itself, appears to be manifesting itself, instantiating itself in front of our very eyes in the technological world today of mass communication, of screens, in the digital, in television, and in the world of instant communication and information, where we do run after shadows after shadow after shadow, where there is no being but mere seeming increasingly. The inmates of the cave are not only in shackles, they are also entrapped by their own enchantment of the bewitching shadows dancing in front of them. The shadows are projected from behind them, where they dare not look, where they never turn their heads. The shadows are the reflections not of real things, however, but of clay figures, which are themselves copies of the actual things. We dare not ask, and Plato does not tell us, who are those who carry the clay figures. He leaves us in the dark and has done so for 2,500 years. We know not, as well, who they are, who they must be, in a sense, what kind of a world do they live in, as those who make the shadows and who throw the shadows against the screen of the cave. But one of them, the philosopher, is accidentally freed. One of the inmates is accidentally freed, and he finds himself running up, or stumbling up more so, the cave towards an exit and towards the light of the sun. The idea of the good. However, upon seeing the light and upon seeing the cave itself for the first time, he is more than just confused. And he must spend the night, close his eyes first to get used to the light of the sun, which burns his eyes. But still, he returns into the cave. He does not stay outside. It remains unsaid, but not unthought, how or where one truly breaks free. Is there an exit from the cave? Why is the cave at the heart of Plato's Republic? What does this say about the philosopher kings? Who are they, and what forces do they have to be able to withstand? Are not computer models and simulations today the shadow forms of our age? Does freedom lie outside the cave, or does it lie somewhere else? Does freedom occur when we leave the cave, or does it occur when we return into the cave? Or is there no possibility for freedom whatsoever? Is freedom itself always just an illusion? Are the shadows mere illusions? Or are they not also real? Are we haunted by exhausted meaning forms? What is illusion? Is illusion always wrong? Or do we need illusion to escape the process? We are not told. And we are not told precisely, I think, because the moving out of and the moving into the cave again must be articulated again and again, anew and anew with every generation. Still, today in our age, of the impending metaverse, which was just announced, metaverse, the metaphysica. We are moving behind that which is visible, but that which is there generated then reflects back into, from the shadow throwers of the Book of Faces, back into the so-called reality of which they have no concept, however. This is the most obvious instantiation of the total reign of metaphysics, this metaverse. And the myth of the cave then needs to be understood precisely in this light and grasped and overturned and thought through in this dark glowing light of what is upon us, so that from within we find another path, our own. So I am inviting you to join me for an intense weekend of discussion and thinking through this most uncanny, most unobvious, most unrelenting myth of all of metaphysics, Plato's cave, which is far beyond just an attempt to educate the readers about the so-called theory of forms. Something much more uncanny and horrifying, if I dare say so, is occurring here. And it tells us also something about what really moves the world. It is thought itself and how we respond to thinking and to thought. We will meet for 2 days, for an entire weekend, on Saturday, Sunday, December 18th and 19th, from 5 to 8 p.m. GMT, and we will discuss the cave, and it's only the cave. You can sign up for the Halcyon Symposium on the cave by following the link in the description of this video. When you sign up, you also get an exclusive video lecture where I go through the analogy of the line and the analogy of the sun, which are the analogies right before the cave. And I also go through some of the most important ancient Greek terms which are often mistranslated in either the German or the English versions that I'm aware of. So we will go through the ancient Greek words here and try to translate them for our age. And we will go through, so I will do this in a video that you will also have access to when you sign up for this seminar course, for this symposium. So I invite you all to join us and think through, on the last weekend before Christmas this year, what the cave means for us and for our epoch and for the decades to come in this century. So you can sign up by following the link down below in the description of this video. Thank you very much for listening, and as always, feel free to share this video with anyone who might also be interested in our age and what it means to be human in this time, and also with anyone who's interested in Plato, ancient Greek philosophy, and the history of ideas. Thank you very much indeed.